Blog Talk Radio.
I'm Bonnie D. Graham, a.k.a. Radio Red. I'm ready to speak to my first guest. He is Asoka, and his book is Flying Penguin, How to Create Miracles in Your Life Using the 6 Dimensions of Success, and I'm Ready for a Miracle. Asoka, welcome to Read My Lips Radio. Actually, you are one of the few authors I've had on the show who's probably a little bit older than I am. You admit in your book, you admit to the fact that life really came alive for you. So many things happened in the decade after you turned 60. So I know you're about 70 now. How did you settle on penguins as the name for your book?
Well, I didn't want to write a book with a boring title like, how to be more successful. So I was looking for a metaphor that was interesting and relevant. Then I saw a documentary on National Geographic that showed that emperor penguins shoot out of the water 5 or 6 feet to land on ice at a higher level when threatened by a predator lurking under the ice. Then I realized that human beings, we do the same thing under life-threatening circumstances. It's also relevant to the fact that we have huge potential sleeping within us, and it's only under life-threatening circumstances we realize this potential. So I wanted to find out, being an engineer, kind of a lazy engineer, how can we do that with the least amount of effort in the shortest possible time?
And talk to me about the 6 dimensions. We're going to be discussing them briefly. I'm just going to read them off, just tick them off here so that everybody will know. And then I'd like you to talk about, is there a certain order to them? So you talk about the heart, the mind, focus, health, body, and passion. And I think you say that health is the one that anchors them all. How did you come up with the idea of 6 dimensions?
Well, 6 covers just about everything. Now, I was looking for a model that was comprehensive, easy to understand, and easy to develop. And gradually, I realized that success has these 6 dimensions. So the more I worked on it, the more I realized that successful people and successful organizations have developed these 6 dimensions of success.
And if you had to say there's one that's at the top of the list as the key to opening this potential in people, what would that one be?
Passion is the driver. Passion is the fire inside. Once you awaken it, it transforms ordinary people into extraordinary people. So for me, if you have passion, you can develop everything else. It's like having a racing car with the highest quality fuel in the petrol tank, in the gas tank. Passion is the key.
Now, let's take the information in your book and the time we have left, and let's talk about how we take somebody in their 40s or 50s or 60s who has lost that verve, that drive, that passion. They are going through the motions. They go to work or they don't have work. They come home or they stay home. They're unhappy. They're not motivated. They're not realizing potential on any level whatsoever. They're bored. They go from activity to activity just to say that they're alive. They're a shell of their unrealized former human being. I'm going to say that. What do you do when you say you can transform anyone from a penguin to an eagle within 5 hours? So how would we practically, on a practical level, Asoka, take your 6-dimensional model in human potential development and retrain this adult, let's say a woman age 55. She's been working forever. Her kids are out of the house. They're grown. Her husband either has a career or she's divorced. What can she do to apply your model to get back that passion and that focus and that excitement? What do you say?
Well, the first thing is for that lady to realize who I am now, it's nowhere near who I could be. So the first thing is in your mind, you have to understand, look, I'm a limitless human being. I have the wisdom of the universe in my body at a molecular level. So first step is to act young. Now, research shows that when an elderly person acts young, you do things that young people do, they become young. Because what happens is the brain rewires itself depending on what you think and what you do. So there are enough case studies where suddenly a woman of 60, or I did this when I was 60, I realized, my God, who I am is nothing compared to who I could be. I was born with wings, and I still have these wings. So you start acting young. You start doing things that you did as a child. And then something amazing happens. You become that person. Then gradually the 6 dimensions fit into place. And the purpose of my book is to give a little bit of guidance about the areas you need to develop. For example, like health. We were born with natural health. Now, unfortunately, all the processed food that we eat and drink is the cause of all illness. So in order to get the fire burning inside you, you need to take care of food and the drink and take very natural, unprocessed food. And this is what I have done. So that combined with the mindset where you say, I'm young and I'm going to do crazy things. So you do crazy things. And then you awaken the fire inside you.
Interesting. So is the key to start eating untainted food, if you will, or unprocessed food, raw organic food? You mentioned here, and chewing your mouthful, every mouthful 32 times. I've had other guests on who talk about 20 to 30 times chewing. My question to you is this how to reignite it? Is this the best and most, I'll use a word that Andreas Berge, our next guest, is going to appreciate, is this the elegant way to approach reigniting that fire, Asoka?
For example, chewing each mouthful 32 times mindfully is the best meditation. It focuses you like a laser beam, so you are totally here and now. Instead of the mind flying around like a crazy horse, this is how you put a halter. And once you get your mind focused on whatever you want to achieve in life, everything else follows. Because you have flown with your mind to every goal you have ever achieved in your life. So first thing is to free the mind. Believe that you can do it. Act that belief. So if you walk tall, breathe deep, and walk as if you are a teenager, whether you are 60 or 70, you become that teenager. Your brain rewires itself to do that. That's amazing. That's what I did.
When you reawakened this fire, this passion that you may not have even realized you had as a child, and you're in your adult years or your mature years, and you reawaken it, or you awaken it for the first time, how do you know where to apply that passion and that energy and that zest for life? How do you focus? That's one of your 6 dimensions. How do you pick the right focus so that you're using this new gift for some good or for the best pleasure? What's your approach?
Well, reading books is not the best way because it fills you with a lot of knowledge and very little wisdom. What drives success is passion. I loved movies. When I was at the university, I spent all my time watching movies. So the moment I had the chance and I thought, hey, I want to be a filmmaker. Now, I didn't think, my God, I have no education in filmmaking. I don't have the money. You just start doing it. And the more focused you are, the more passionate you are, you get what you want. The universe kind of gives you whatever you want if you are very passionately interested in that. That's why passion is the driver of success. It gives you the fire to say, I have no idea how to do this, and I have never done this before. I don't know anybody else who has done this, but I will do it.
Well, my question basically is, just because you have the passion, does that mean you're going to excel in something? What do you think?
Well, you have certain things that you can and you can't do. It's like planting oranges in the desert. Sure, you can do that, but it's much better to plant a cactus in the desert. So you have to know who you are. And if you love music, for example, and you know you're not going to be a world-class singer, do something connected with the music business. So you're connected with music, but you're not limiting yourself to thinking, I'm going to be a singer, that's it. So the first thing is you have to understand who you are. Now the problem is that you didn't get an instruction manual when you were born. So you have no idea who you are. So you struggle through life, trial and error, to try and work out, am I a Picasso? Am I Michael Jordan? Am I a Wayne Gretzky? So what happens is gradually, this thing, it's like a blurred picture. As you grow older, and if the parents and the elders let you choose, you know from your heart what really turns you on. So if you love painting, and that's what you would be, and if you are not so good at painting, then you will somehow learn how to paint. Now, someone with natural talents at painting could probably be better initially. But there's nothing that we can't learn because we could use a smartphone as a child long before we could read. That's the starting point. And if you do something you're really passionate about and you're not the best, who cares? You have a blast doing it. That's what life is all about, isn't it?
I love it. I love that. This is wonderful. I have enjoyed speaking with you so much. I hope it was your pleasure as well, because I think we had a really good conversation.